Hello, this video is for IXL activity 7.C.5. It is titled Add 3 or More Integers. And the 3-character code for this one is Papa, Bravo, Charlie. So we've already added 2 integers together in other activities. Now we're going to add 3 or more integers together in this one here. So we'll use some of those same strategies, only this time we're going to have to use it multiple times within the same problem in order to come up with our solution. Well, this first one, I noticed that 9 and negative 9, that those are opposites. So they're going to equal 0, right? So we can pretty much rule that part out. So we're just dealing with negative 8 plus 17, right? They are different signs, so we're going to have to consider their absolute values. The absolute value of 8 and the absolute value of 17. And 8 is less than 17, so in this case, our answer is going to have the same sign as the 17, and the 17 is positive. So our answer is going to be positive, and 17 minus 8 is 9. On the next one here, we have 16 and negative 15. We're going to deal with this first, and we'll bring the negative or the positive 2 down. So they are different signs, and we're going to have to determine what the answer is going to be. And the absolute value of 16 is 16, and the absolute value of 15, negative 15, is positive 15. So 16 is greater than negative 15, so our answer is going to be positive, and 16 minus 15 is 1. So let's bring down the positive 2, or the plus 2, and 1 plus 2 equals 3. So our solution would be 3 in this case. On the next one, well, looky here. They've given us, oh, I was about ready to jump on that and think those are opposites, and indeed they are not, but they are the same sign. So I know my answer is going to be negative, just like both the 14s are negative 14s, and I need to add those together to get 28. Now let's bring down the plus 10. Now I need to add these two together. And I notice that one's negative, the other one's positive. So the absolute value of 28 is going to be greater than the absolute value of positive 10. So my answer is going to be negative. And 28 minus 10 is going to be 18. So my final solution is negative 18. On to the next one. Let's see, I could start right here at the left and go there, but I'm spotting this 15 and the negative 16 here. So let's deal with that. So let's bring down the 12, and then I need to figure out what this is going to be. So I have 2 different signs. Absolute value of 15 is going to be less than the absolute value of 16. So that's going to be a negative. So plus a negative. And 16 minus 15 is 1. Now let's bring down the plus 19. And let's go ahead and do this part right here. 12 plus negative 1. Well, absolute value of 12 is going to be greater than the absolute value of negative 1. So it's going to be positive, just like the 12 is positive. 12 minus 1 is 11. And now let's bring down the plus 19. And 19 and 11. Need to add those together. And let's see. I'm going to do this mentally. 19 plus, I'm going to think of this 11 as 10 plus 1, right? So the 19 plus the 10 is 20. Plus 1 more is going to be 21. No, got that wrong. 21 doesn't make sense, right? I messed up someplace in there. So let's go back. I know where I did it. Again, I'm going to think of this as 10 plus 1. The 11 is 10 plus 1. 19 plus 10 is 29. Plus 1 more is going to be 30. So my final solution is 30. On the next one here, I'm looking for some easy ones to pair up. Now what I could do is, let's try this strategy. Let's take the 2 positive numbers. Let's take 16 and 2 and put those together to get 18. Same sign, right? So the answer is going to be positive. So I've dealt with the 16 and the 2. Now let's deal with the negative 17 and the negative 12. So if I add those together, they're the same sign. They're both negative, so the result is going to be negative. And 17 plus 12, we'll think of 12 as 10 plus 2. 17 plus 10 is 27. Plus 2 more is going to be 29, right? So I end up with 18 plus negative 29. Now they are different signs, so I'm going to have to consider the whole absolute value concept. The absolute value of 29 is going to be greater than the absolute value of 18, so the answer is going to be negative just like the 29 is negative. Now I need to do 29 minus 18. 29 minus the 18. 9 minus 8 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So I end up with negative 11 as my answer. We'll continue on. The 0 we can just rule out, right? Don't have to worry about the 0. And let's try that. Put the positives together, put the negatives together, and work from there. So let's do the two positives. 19 plus 4 is going to be 23. And then I have my negative 7 and my negative 88. They're the same sign, so the answer is going to be negative. And 88 plus 7, well, I'm going to think of the 7 as 5 plus 2. 88 plus 2 is 90, plus 5 more is 95. All right, now I can deal with the 23 plus negative 95. They are different signs, so we're going to have to incorporate that concept of absolute values. The absolute value of negative 95 is going to be greater than the absolute value of 23. So since the 95 is negative, our answer is going to be negative. And we know that if we use that absolute value concept, then we have to subtract. So we're going to do 95 minus 23. 5 minus 3 is 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. So we're going to end up with negative 72. So our final answer on this one is negative 72. On the next one here, know what stands out? Those 6's, right? The positive 6 and negative 6. Well, they're going to cancel each other out basically because they're going to equal 0. So we can just kind of get rid of those. Now let's deal with the idea of putting the positive numbers together. The 18 and the 52. So over here to the side, do 52 plus 18. 2 and 8 is 10. We'll carry the 1. 5, 6, 7. So we end up with 70. And now that took care of the positive numbers. All we're left with is this negative 29, so we need to add that negative 29. So once again, we have a situation where we have one's positive, the other is negative, so we need to incorporate the absolute value concept. The absolute value of 70 is greater than the absolute value of negative 29. The 70 is positive, so our answer is going to be positive, right? But we need to subtract. So I could mental math this one, and I'll first write it out, and then I'll demonstrate the mental math for it. I need to do 70 minus 29. So I can't take 9 from 0, so I need to borrow, so the 7 is going to become a 6. This 0 becomes a 10. Now I can go ahead and subtract. 10 minus 9 is 1. 6 minus 2 is 4. So we end up with 41. Remember, our answer is supposed to be positive because the absolute value of 70 is greater than the absolute value of 29. Now, another way I could have done this mentally is think of 29 as 30 minus 1, right? Or instead of take away 29, let's take away 30. I would get 40, but I was only supposed to take away 29, so I need to add 1 back to it. So I'd end up with 41. So that would be the mental math for that one. Okay, last two problems here. We have 95 plus negative 8 plus 11 plus 96 plus 9. So I think I'll work with a couple of look at this one here. The 11 and the 9, those work really well together, right? Those give us 20, correct? So we've dealt with those. That's pretty easy. And then let's put the 95 and the 96 together. So 95 plus 96, because they are the same sign. They're both positive, so we'll add them together. And 5 plus 6 is 11. Carry the 1. 9 and 9 is 18. Plus 1 more is 19. So we end up with plus 191. And the only thing we have left is the -8, so we have plus -8. Let's go ahead and put together the two positives right here, right? So 191 plus 20. 191 plus 20. 1 plus 0 is 1, 9, 10, 11. Carry the 1. We end up with 211. 211 plus -8. So we have to incorporate the absolute value concept because they are different signs. Absolute value of 211 is going to be greater than the absolute value of -8. 211 is positive, therefore our answer would be positive. So we need to subtract 211 minus 8. Can't take 8 from 1, so we need to borrow. That becomes 0, and this becomes 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. Bring down this 0, and 203 is our answer. All right, so positive 203. And you could have mental mathed that because you realize that if you have 211 and you're adding a -8, it's the same as 211 minus 8. And if we take away 8 from the 11 portion of it, your value is going to be at least 200. So you could think of that as 200, and 11 minus 8 is going to be 3. So 203. Finally, last one here. I have 3 negatives and a positive. Let's see. Let's put these two together right here. So -15 plus -9, -2 is going to be -11. They're both the same sign, so it's going to be negative. And plus 99. Now let's go ahead and add the two negatives together. They are both negative, so our answer is going to be negative. 15 plus 11. Well, think of 11 as 10 plus 1, right? So 15 plus 10 is 25, plus 1 more is 26. And bring down the plus 99. Once again, we have a situation where one's negative, the other's positive, different signs, so absolute value concept. Absolute value of -26 is going to be less than the absolute value of 99, so the 99 wins out. The 99 is positive, so our answer is going to be positive. And then we subtract. So 99 minus the 26. 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 2 is 7. So it's a positive 73. All right. So in review, one way to do it is to go through and find certain ones that work well together. For instance, whenever we had the problems to where, like this 15 and 16 worked out well, they were really close together. Same here with that. Also adding the two negatives together first to get the -28 worked out well. So you can just use strategies that help you spot the solutions that are going to make it easier. You don't necessarily have to work them left to right. The reason for this is that addition is commutative, and all of these are addition, so order doesn't matter. So you can kind of go through and pair them up in different places. All right, so those are all of my examples for IXL 7.C.5, where we add 3 or more integers together. Good luck with your activity.